What if the clearest sign she's already yours is the moment she stops trying to impress you? Listen carefully, because most men miss this. They chase the wrong signals. They chase attention, emojis, compliments, validation, and they ignore the one behavior that science, psychology, and ancient wisdom all agree on. Here's the truth. When a woman feels secure with you, her behavior changes in ways that insecure men don't recognize, and insecure men talk themselves right out of attraction. Let me tell you a story. A guy I coached once said, "She doesn't text as much anymore. She doesn't ask where I am. She doesn't interrogate me." He thought he was losing her. He wasn't. He already had her. Because what changed wasn't her interest, it was her nervous system. Psychology backs this up. Attachment research shows that when attraction becomes safe, anxious behaviors drop. Less checking, less proving, less testing. When someone feels emotionally regulated around you, their brain stops scanning for threats. Dopamine spikes calm down. Cortisol drops. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, increases. Translation: she's not chasing because she doesn't need to. Studies in relationship psychology consistently show that people who feel emotionally secure show less overt pursuit, not more. Obsession isn't love. Anxiety isn't attraction. Calm is. But here's where men mess it up. They mistake peace for boredom, silence for disinterest, stability for loss of desire. So they start performing. They overtext. They explain themselves. They try to get the spark back. And that's when they lose her. Stoicism warned about this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Translation for modern dating: don't react emotionally to imagined loss. Epictetus taught that craving control over others is weakness. Seneca warned that anxiety about outcomes destroys power in the present moment. And yet most men do the opposite. They panic when she relaxes. They panic when she feels safe. They panic when she stops auditioning. Here's the scientific reality. Attraction doesn't deepen through pressure. It deepens through predictable emotional safety. When she does this, when she stops checking, stops proving, stops needing reassurance, it means her subconscious has already decided something important. You're solid. You're consistent. You're not going anywhere. And paradoxically, that's when you're most wanted. But if you don't understand this, you'll sabotage it. You'll talk too much, explain too much, reach too much, and she'll start to feel the imbalance. So, before you label her behavior as pulling away, ask yourself this: is she withdrawing? Or has she simply stopped chasing because she already feels chosen? Stay with me, because in the rest of this video, I'm going to break down exactly what this behavior looks like, why it terrifies insecure men, and how calm masculine restraint locks attraction in permanently. Ready? Don't move. Chapter 1. The Moment Control. Quietly shifts. Let me be blunt. If you think attraction is loud, dramatic, and constantly demanding, you've already lost leverage, because the real shift happens when the noise disappears. Here's what most men are conditioned to believe. If she's into you, she'll chase. She'll double text. She'll ask where you are. She'll worry about losing you. That belief is wrong. That behavior isn't attraction. It's uncertainty. And uncertainty is temporary. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men can't swallow. When a woman genuinely feels connected to you, she gives up control. Not verbally, not consciously, but neurologically. Neuroscience shows that when emotional safety is established, the brain reduces threat monitoring behavior. The amygdala quiets down. Dopamine spikes stabilize. Cortisol drops. This is not romance theory. This is biology. In simple terms, her mind stops watching you, and men misread that as disinterest. Let me tell you what actually happens. She doesn't rush to reply anymore, not because she doesn't care, but because she's not afraid. She doesn't need to test you. She doesn't need reassurance. She doesn't need to see if you'll leave. Why? Because subconsciously she already knows you won't. This is where weak men self-destruct. They feel the shift, they sense the calm, and instead of holding frame, they panic. They start checking in. They explain themselves unprompted. They try to recreate the early chaos, and chaos kills attraction. Psychologists call this misaligned attachment response. When one person becomes regulated and the other becomes anxious, polarity collapses. That's when she starts pulling back for real. Stoic philosophy warned against this exact mistake long before dating podcasts existed. Epictetus taught that the need to control outcomes is proof you don't control yourself. And here's the brutal part. When she does this, when she relaxes into certainty, she's testing something without even knowing it. She's testing whether you're grounded or whether your confidence only existed when she was uncertain. Most men fail that test. They mistake peace for rejection. They confuse stillness with loss. They start negotiating attraction instead of embodying it. But the man who understands this moment, he doesn't chase. He doesn't withdraw. He doesn't ask for reassurance. He stays exactly the same. And that consistency does something dangerous. It deepens the bond, because attraction doesn't grow from being pursued. It grows from feeling safe with someone who doesn't need you to feel powerful. In the next chapter, I'm going to show you the specific behaviors that reveal this shift and how to respond without saying a word. Most men talk themselves out of attraction here. You won't. You. Chapter 2. The behaviors men misinterpret and why they're dead wrong. Now pay attention, because this is where most men self-sabotage without even realizing it. When she does this, it doesn't look cinematic, it doesn't look romantic, it doesn't look like the movies. It looks quiet. Here are the behaviors that confuse insecure men and expose secure attraction. First, she stops seeking constant validation from you. She doesn't fish for compliments. She doesn't ask, "Do you still like me?" She doesn't need reassurance after every interaction. Why? Because validation seeking is a stress response. When it disappears, it means her nervous system feels safe around you. Second, she becomes emotionally consistent, not emotionally intense. No hot and cold games, no dramatic mood swings, no random tests to see if you'll chase. Psychological data is clear here. Emotional volatility is linked to uncertainty, not desire. Stable attraction produces predictable behavior, but men addicted to chaos read stability as boredom. They're wrong. Third, she starts assuming your presence instead of checking for it. She doesn't ask where you are every night. She doesn't track your movements. She doesn't need constant updates. And this is the one that really messes with men, because when someone stops monitoring you, it means they've already placed you in a trusted category. Trust is not loud. Trust is silent. Carl Jung spoke about this when he said that the deepest bonds operate in the unconscious, not the conscious mind. Carl Jung believed that when someone is psychologically integrated into our inner world, we stop obsessing over them externally. They're no longer a question mark. They're assumed. And assumption is power. Fourth, she gives you space without punishment. This is huge. She doesn't guilt-trip you for being busy. She doesn't create conflict to regain attention. She doesn't weaponize silence. This signals emotional maturity and emotional security. Research in relationship psychology shows that secure partners interpret space as neutral, not threatening. Anxious partners interpret space as abandonment. So when she gives you space calmly, she's not pulling away. She's already grounded. Now here's where men blow it. They think, I need to do more. They think, I'm losing her. They think, I should escalate to keep her interested. No, this is the exact moment you do less. Stoicism teaches restraint, not reaction. Seneca warned that overreaction to perceived loss creates the very loss we fear. When you start explaining, chasing, or proving at this stage, you reintroduce instability. And instability forces her subconscious to reassess you, not in your favor. Because here's the truth men hate to hear. Attraction doesn't need maintenance. It needs non-interference. When she does this, when she relaxes, trusts, assumes, and stabilizes, your only job is not to panic. In the next chapter, I'll show you exactly how to respond, without words, without games, without effort, and why this response locks attraction in deeper than anything you could ever say. Chapter 3. The only response that locks attraction. In without saying a word. Here's where everything separates. Average men react. High-value men hold. When she does this, when she relaxes, stops chasing, and settles into emotional certainty, there is only one response that strengthens attraction. You do not change. That sounds simple. It isn't. Because your ego will itch, your fear will whisper, your old conditioning will scream, do something, and that's exactly why most men fail here. Let's talk science first. Behavioral psychology shows that consistency under reduced stimulation is interpreted as strength. When someone remains grounded, even when attention decreases, the other person's brain assigns higher status and reliability. In simple terms, stability under calm equals power. Now let me tell you a short story. A man I worked with noticed something strange. The woman he was seeing stopped initiating as much. No drama, no distance, just calm. Old him would have chased, new him didn't. He kept his routine. His tone stayed relaxed, his energy stayed warm, but not needy. 2 weeks later, she brought it up herself. You feel steady. I don't feel like I have to worry with you. That sentence is everything. Because attraction doesn't peak when she's uncertain. It deepens when she feels safe with someone who doesn't need reassurance. Philosophy understood this long before modern dating theory. Marcus Aurelius wrote that strength is the ability to remain unchanged by external events, and this is the event. Her calm is not a threat, it's an invitation, but only if you respond correctly. Here's the correct response, broken down. First, you don't increase effort. No over-texting, no emotional speeches, no checking in. Second, you don't withdraw to regain control. No coldness, no disappearing acts, no punishment. Third, you stay warm, busy, and unbothered. You reply when it makes sense. You lead when you're together. You leave when you said you would. This combination is lethal because it signals 3 things at once. You're not dependent, you're emotionally regulated, you don't fear loss, and fearlessness is magnetic. Stoicism teaches that attachment to outcomes destroys inner freedom. Epictetus said that peace comes from wanting events to happen as they do, not as you wish. When you embody that, she feels it, not consciously, not logically, emotionally. And here's the paradox men miss. The less you try to secure her, the more secure she feels choosing you. When she does this, when she settles, trusts, and stops proving, the attraction test isn't about her anymore. It's about you. Can you remain centered without being chased? Most men can't. That's why they lose women who were already theirs. In the next chapter, I'll reveal the one mistake that instantly reverses this dynamic, and why even confident men make it without realizing it. Don't miss it. The truth. Most men learn. Too late. Here's the final truth. If she does this, if she relaxes, trusts, assumes your presence and stops chasing, you don't win her by doing more. You win her by not ruining it. Most men don't lose women because they lack attraction. They lose them because they panic at the moment attraction stabilizes. They confuse calm with loss. They confuse silence with rejection. They confuse peace with boredom. And in that confusion, they overstep. They talk too much, explain too much, reach too much. Stoicism warned us about this centuries ago. Seneca said that anxiety over what we cannot control robs us of power in the present, and attraction lives in the present, not in reassurance, not in performance, not in force. It lives in grounded presence. When you remain steady while she settles, something irreversible happens. Her subconscious concludes, this man is safe and rare, and rarity creates value. That's the part nobody tells you. The man who can stay centered without being chased is the man women don't want to lose. So if you're watching this and you recognize these signs, don't interfere, don't test, don't chase, hold frame, stay warm, live your life. Because the moment you stop trying to secure attraction is often the moment attraction secures you. If this hit, subscribe to Alpha Energy. This channel isn't about tricks. It's about understanding power, psychology, and self-mastery. Comment below, I don't chase certainty. And remember, calm is not the absence of attraction. It's the proof it's already there.